Money Desk now, where we, of course, have our business editor, Devan Murugan, with our money, or rather business update. So I see that some of our citrus exports are standing idle at European ports. And I don't mean to sound despondent, but are we to blame? Is it South Africa's fault that this is happening?
No, I mean, it's a long-standing issue. I mean, it's emerged quite intensively over the last 2 weeks or so. And the problem is that the EU has enforced new rules to allow our citrus to come in. And that rules, many of the growers here are saying it just came in at too late, too sharply, and they have their own mechanisms to ensure the health of the fruit. But here's the background, Masego. Tons of South Africa's oranges, in particular in containers, as you said, stranded at European ports. Now, they may soon rot if the European Union and South Africa don't settle this dispute over import rules quickly. The matter revolves around anti-moth systems, partly. The Citrus Growers Association's Deon Joubert joins me now. Deon, thanks very much indeed for talking to us. I mean, here's the situation as I understand it. You had tons of fruit already on their way via ship to the EU, and then comes along this new rule that came into force while it was on its way there. Now you have a situation where those citrus fruits just sitting there. Are we waiting on the World Trade Organization to resolve this?
Good afternoon. Thank you for your time. We appreciate taking an interest in this. Look, what it's all about is that we've been exporting from South Africa to Europe for the past 100 years. So we've got a very proud and a really successful history, and 99.99% of our consignments arrive absolutely perfect. And there's a massive demand that we've gone up by 50% in Europe over the last 4 or 5 years. So there's nothing wrong with the citrus. This has been going there for years. There's no transmission of anything in the past. But there's a lot of tit for tat at the moment between the EU and South Africa on products, and unfortunately citrus has been pulled into this one. So there's a new regulation which came in the middle of the season, the 21st of June to be precise, and the EU wanted execution from the 24th, 3 days later. In normal terms, you would allow anybody 6 months to your trading partner to imply new rules. If it's substantiated and you have any data to support that, they have nothing. At the moment, South Africa is by far the best performing country with imports in terms of, as I said, 99.99% of our product arriving in great shape. And it's a fantastic product. It does exceedingly well. The consumers want more of it. And I think the issue here is there's an election in Spain later the year, and they've got a lot of small growers, which unfortunately, not due to us, but due to the economic circumstances, are struggling, and they're used to quite big subsidies, which are falling away. So South Africa is a very handy tool at the moment to make political noise for it.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, South Africa is having a little bit of a bump up or a bump down on this. And I think it was just for your viewers, citrus over the last 8 years has gone up from 8 billion rand of foreign income to 30 billion. We have 140,000 people working in the industry, which means about 1.4, 1.5 million people in rural South Africa depend on the citrus, which is fantastic. And at the same time, just to make a growth figure, I think with the growth of about 50 million cartons over the last 8 years that we've grown, we've probably put out 45,000 new jobs in rural South Africa on the table, which is fantastic for any country. It's a jewel. It should be protected.
I want to get to that impact in a moment, but let's just try and understand this nitty-gritty dispute here, right? So you have the new measures requiring South African farmers to apply what I understand to be some cold treatment on these oranges and other citrus to keep temperatures low for 25 days. What you are arguing is that you already have mechanisms in place to prevent any of those bad effects that they point out. Do I understand that?
Correct. So the point is that South Africa's risk management system on FCM already has a cold component for traveling to Europe of 16 to 18 days. So what they're currently requiring, just making it 25 days, and it requires additional equipment, additional measures. But if you do that, you must have some reasonable, some reasons and some data to support the fact that it's ineffective. South Africa is by far, of all the countries importing, the most effective in the control of false codling moth, and it's never been transferred there. So there's no reason. You're absolutely right. There must be probable cause, and there must be good reason.
Deon,
Nothing's put on the table, and yeah, sure. Sorry.
I beg your pardon. Let me just ask you this. So you have a situation where this fruit is now standing at entry points at various parts of the EU, all right? So what are we waiting for? Number one, are we waiting for the WTO, for example, to sort of intervene here? Or on the other side, the impact could be quite spectacular, because can this fruit rot? And we're talking tons of these citrus fruit. Is there a possibility that it could rot if something doesn't happen soon?
Well, there was a problem. The Minister of Trade and Industry and Minister of Agriculture both intervened. So there's some settlement at the moment in terms of the implementation, the unfair implementation being done. So hopefully we can clear that in the next 2 weeks. The next step is the one you referred to, where the Minister of Trade and Industry took the EU to task and put that down what we call a challenge in terms of WTO. So we've got a live dispute to talk about call it the unfairness, the unproportionality of the measure, which needs to be done in the next 30 days. Hopefully that will go through before next season, so we have much more, call it advantageous situation or controls to export citrus to the EU.
All right, so it's also a matter of new shipments coming in. Thanks very much indeed. Deon Joubert is from the Citrus Growers Association.